Hello everybody and happy Thursday. Welcome to your daily lighting critique. Today we're going to take a look at a couple of animations, a couple stills, but first out of the gate I want to hop over here and take a look at a project that Abhishek was working on in Nuke here. So this is the image that he provided. This is where what I was able to do to change a couple things, because just zoom in here. Because the biggest thing is from the original was that we were trying to do is we've got like kind of this opaque shadow, and like kind of how to deal with that and how to do that. And so what I had Abhishek do was send over his Nuke script. I kind of took a look at it, reconfigured some stuff, and now I'm going to walk through that process to show how that was done. So the first thing that I saw when I opened this, like just zooming in here, was the way that you have this kind of layered together. So we have the original image, we've got over, and then you kind of build up the shadow, and then you kind of add it into the background. So the first thing that I thought when I looked at this was looking at this top node, and generally speaking, when you first start with something, you don't. It's generally bad to have a merge operation with only one thing going in, because you could possibly mess some stuff up. So the first thing you always want to do is just read that directly into the stack without going through a merge operation. The other thing is that you're kind of building this up in two directions. Like it's a start with the car, and then it's like add the reflections, then it's like add this road, the road shadow, then we add this other shadow, and then we add the background. The way that I always like to think about things when I'm building a comp is that, like, imagining you're having these individual elements on your desk, you have them laid out. Like, how would you actually assemble them to get your final image? And so what I always do is I always work back to front. So I start, my very first thing at the very top is always what's in the furthest thing away from the camera, like the background. And then on top of that background is actually going to be our two shadows. And then on top of that is going to be our car. And then on top of the car is then going to be our reflection. Because it's always thinking of layering back to front. And what that'll do is allow for some secondary effects and things to happen in the comp that would behave much more naturally. And also it just helps us to find things in the comp later on. And a couple things that were going on in the original that I could see why this was happening was like this shadow. You were shuffling out the shadow pass, and then you were putting that into a grade node, and then setting that grade node value, and then putting that underneath the car, and then so that's gonna like that alpha channel is bulletproof, right? There's nothing that can pass through that. That's why the road wasn't showing up in this final image. Where this way that we do it is we take the background plate, we've got this the same shadow pass alpha channel, and what I'm doing is I'm using that as a mask into a grade node, and what this does is this allows me to control how much it gets added in, and I can also control the color, which I'll show here in just a second. All right, so that was like the underlying shadow. On top of that, I wanted to add this ambient occlusion, and I'll show you what I did there. So essentially what you do is, actually I'll just do it from scratch. So you've got this ambient occlusion. The easiest way to add it into a scene is to multiply it in. But as you can see, what's happening is it's cutting off the background. And the reason why is that our ambient occlusion layer has all these black values in it. And if you scroll over them, if you look down here in the bottom right, you can see that those are 0, 0, 0. So anything multiplied by 0 is 0, and in this world of RGB images, 0 is black. So what does that mean? That means that we need to put something white back there that's 1, 1, 1, so that it doesn't go to black. So the easiest way to do that is just add a constant node, change that constant from, again, 0, 0, 0 to 1, 1, 1, and then just layer this over top of that. And now you can see, again, what happens is it maintains the background. So anytime you see that, anytime you have an ambient occlusion with a black, make sure you just put it over a white constant, and then you're cool. All right, so you got that? Cool. Now what goes on top of that? The car itself. So literally just taking that, layering it over. Now you've got these reflections. You've got a grade on there. You can grade those up as you see fit. Now, the other thing I wanted to point out to you was a workflow idea. So one other thing I noticed about your comp that I always like to do is, I can even add a backdrop back here. I always add an area at the bottom of my comp that is just for my reference images. I usually, I don't know why I do this. I usually color it white. I don't know why. It's just my little thing. So I always have a little white box at the bottom, and that is where my reference lives. And the reason why is that I constantly want to be comparing to my reference. I constantly want to be looking back at what my goal is. And in this case, the ways that you can use that really effectively is like with this ground shadow. So when I was putting this together, I was like, I wonder what ground shadow color they want me to use. And so what I did was I was like, okay, let's focus in on this, like the asphalt. And the easiest way to do that is there's a wipe operator up here in the view node, and what it does is it allows you to put one image on one side and another image on the other side. So I'm just hitting 1 and 2, and it loads those into the viewer, and then it creates a slider in the middle that allows me to swipe between the two. And literally all I did was I just like swiped over half over one and half over the other, and now you can zoom in and you can adjust your color to get it to match as closely as you want. So like literally it was like, I was like, okay, so the thing is darker. I'm just gonna kind of lift this up a little bit, and I'm just trying to get the pixels to blend. And then you're like, okay, so yeah, I was kind of playing around with color to see what colors would work. Like that might be okay, but that even that feels like a little bit too much. It actually doesn't look like they added any color to the shadow. So like you play around with that, and then once you get those to line up, then you can back off, drop this out, and then and now you have something similar. And actually, I think our shadows are looking a little bit better than the references because they've got some grayness and like dustiness that kind of goes off over here. Ours maintains some of the value within the shadow. Now, there are some issues with ours, like if we're casting shadow here onto the street, there wouldn't be more shadow along the edge of this, right? It wouldn't be, the shadows don't get doubled up that way, but like that's not really within the realm of this. So this is how I would layer this together. Abhishek, do you have any questions about this?
No, Mike.
Yeah.
I got the point.
Cool.
What was the issue?
And I can send you this file over once we're done with this, so you can take a look at this as well.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, let's hop into some other visuals here. So let's start off with we're on the Abhishek train, so let's keep riding that. We've got your poker puss example here for now, and then we'll take a look at your other stills as well. So the animation on this looks good. It feels a little hazy. It feels now we're almost feeling underwater in here. Did you increase the haze on this?
No, I didn't actually.
Oh, interesting. It might just be the compression then, because it feels like the black values under the table feel a little bit softer and stuff, and actually, it probably is just compression, because like his eye feels a lot brighter than it used to. So just
I think this roto stuff might be hurt.
Yeah.
Might be changed. Yeah. Yeah.
So
I got it.
Yeah, so just double check that with what we were
Resolution
saying
has
before.
been changed now.
Yeah.
Actually, I didn't get much more time to check
Okay.
that much. I just got the render out, and I thought it might work.
No
But
problem.
I forgot that resolution has been changed. That's why.
No problem. Yeah. So I think that the render, we've got some noise around here especially in the specular highlights. Definitely in the specular highlights, but the rest of it, like the animation looks really good. I think it's kind of nice. So so just take a look at it and see what changed from the previous iteration.
Yeah, that noise can be gone with the full HD version.
Yeah.
Because
I think
In
so.
still image also with this resolution that noise are coming, but
Yeah,
when we rendered in full res, it is not coming.
got it. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Okay, let's hop in, and while we have you on, I feel like a radio host. While we have
So
you
I
on the
think I
line,
should I render it with full version
yeah, I think so.
with
I mean, look,
high sample.
I would go into the comp and make sure that nothing that it matches more closely with what we saw before, and making sure that there's no problems with the render. And as long as all that looks
Yeah,
good, then I would do it full res.
sure.
All right, cool. All right. So looking at the image, yeah. So I'm gonna leave this for now, and I'll let you adjust the comp so you can make those adjustments from there. As far as this one
Yeah, I
goes, yeah.
actually I have changed the lighting also for that.
Okay.
Can you check it out? Lighting.
Yeah. So let's see. So this one. Let's do this. So this is the updated versus the ref. It feels a little dark on top of the car, like the across the hood of the car. Feels like feels a little dark, especially compared to the reference. So I would start there. I also think, yeah, we're just like it's a like the shadows underneath here are just really strong, and I would want to feel a little bit more bounce light coming up underneath the car, underneath that. And again, I have some other thoughts on this, but like I'm reserving it to just what's in the reference image there.
Can we take the sheets?
All right. Yeah, and then getting some more bounce value in on the screen right side too would be really good. Like you see the bounce in the wheel, especially like in the reflections in there. I think that getting some more reflection and getting some more value in there would be really good. And then ultimately, I think that make sure that when you're doing this, and I can just hop over into that comp here. Like you have it as a straight over. I would also, let's see, like maybe I'm actually going to do it a different way. I would actually add a little light glow to this as well, or light wrap, I should say. Just zoom in a little bit here on the edge. Let's see. There we go. Oh, I see. Do it this way. Sorry, give me a sec. Oh. It's back over to. There we go. So, oh, that's weird. That's not working. Yeah, I guess there's just a little bit of wrap there. What I'm trying to do is get a little bit of light wrap around the edge of the car. I guess it's working. But really what I'm seeing is just like a dark line around this edge. And I would almost, maybe it's a matter of tightening it up. There we go. So what that does is it kind of removes that dark edge and makes it so that the car has a little bit more light wrapping around it. It's too intense in here in the middle, but I think I would just kind of paint it around the edge and then do a lighter value in the middle of the car there. I just think that looks a little bit better. It just ties it into the image a little bit more. In terms of the other image here, let's see, older version. Yeah.
I was able to create a caustic, okay, but how will I add a caustic in comp? But I didn't get it actually.
If
I managed to able to create a caustic layer. Okay.
cool, that's great. I would add it to the back. Like you've got your background layer, and if I'm guessing it's like caustic being kicked out here, right? So
Yeah,
so
yeah.
what you do is you would add that, you literally plus that on top of the background image, and then you would add your objects on top of that.
Okay.
Again, with that back to front mentality. So anything on the table happens first, and then the objects on top of that. Okay,
Okay.
so look.
So for that I will need to add the table also, no?
Um,
I don't want to see table actually. Is there any way?
I mean, if you do you have it as a like
I
a
just
like if it's just the
I
caustics, then everything else is black, right?
yeah,
Okay.
like that.
Yeah. So then you literally would use the plus operator in Nuke to plus that on top of the background image, so that it doesn't it would just be an addition to what's already there. So it wouldn't affect it. It wouldn't. It would just a plus on top of that. So I don't think you would need to do anything with anything else. Because literally, it's like if you, like this is, like imagine these are just your caustic lines. That's a bad example, but basically, if I took a black and white image here, this up. For the sake of this, I'm just going to take like something like this. Maybe something like this. All right, this is going to be a little janky, but and like this is my image, and I'm copying it on top. Like so now I've got kind of a black and white image there. I'm just going to kind of rotate this into place. What I would do with this is I wouldn't, I'm not going to layer it over top of this without, this essentially, this lighten is essentially the press operator. And then what I would do is, since all that black kind of goes away, since it's a math operation and it's just being added in, and since this is behind the glass, like all you would get would be the caustic reflections added onto the ground. In this way, and then you could take this and dial this in as you see fit. So it would end up looking like something like that, with obviously better caustics than that. And then in terms of the visuals of this, looking at it versus the reference. So from the previous version, we did want to lower the
Mike,
yeah.
I have sent you an screenshot of caustic. Can you check it out?
Is it okay? Let's see here. Okay,
It's
so
something like this.
yeah, so just put a plane underneath your objects that represents the table, so it gets cast on there, because it's kind of, I think that's what's happening, because you want everything underneath this to be black. It's the way that the objects themselves are black and that kind of thing.
Because actually I am doing
If I change the table,
Mm-hmm.
plain black,
Mhm.
so the caustic color is also not coming.
Oh, then try and make it white, or just something to pick up the color, the same way that like the surroundings are now, because it just, or I guess it would be, what color would it be? Yeah, it would probably just be white, and then, because what would happen is that any area that falls into darkness would still be black. So I would do it that way.
Yeah, I think I can do it
Yeah.
better.
All right. So from the previous version, we've decreased the contrast, but we've lost some of the so the darker values look good, but now we've lost like some of the brights and the brighter values. So just bring back the brighter values a little bit, especially in the gun, in order to match that. Let's see. Yeah, so brighter elements in the gun. Lift the darker elements a little bit more in the bullets, and a little bit lighter in the darks in the glass here.
Yeah, is this glass is going good in right direction?
It's going in the right direction. The biggest thing you want to watch out for, do you see how dark it's getting in here versus the reference? So I would make sure that you're putting something off camera that's like white, that can give something to reflect in here, so it doesn't just reflect blackness and then it turns to nothing.
Okay.
Okay, so it's just something off camera that's like a white plane or just a white object over here, so that you can avoid that. Okay, cool. All right, let's hop into some other ones. Let's see what we got here. All right, Chris, you are here, so let's hop into yours in the.
Okay. Bye, Mike.
Bye. Take care, man.
Good night.
Yeah, have a good night. All right. So, Chris, let's take a look here. We've got your hi. All right. So we've got you popping up here. I think that looks a lot better. Sorry, that was a long time to wait for me to just say that. But how are you feeling about this? What are you thinking?
I'm feeling good if you're feeling good. I reintroduced the light break. I'm glad Diana chimed in because I had delinked them.
Yeah, that happens sometimes, especially like when you're just testing and something takes a while to process. You like to turn it off for a minute, and then it. That's totally normal.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're a little bit off from the reference, but you said that's okay.
It's okay. It's okay by me. Like I said, I don't think this was meant to be a one-to-one reference. It was just an idea to get that look. So I think that you're good. I would say pencils down on this. If anyone's able to clap, I think now would be a good time to clap for it. And then and we can move on to the next project. So good job here. This is really good work. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. All right. Very cool. Very, very cool. Okay, there's two more videos that I want to take a look at. Actually, let's start with Hannah here. So Hannah, yeah, you hit the wall on your free Vimeo because they do that now. And so she's got them uploaded here. I think this might be the same iteration that we saw yesterday, but I'm not 100% sure. So again, try and get more light wrap coming in through the door here, and like just some brighter elements. As make sure the background's nice and bright and kind of glowy, and then watch out for the tight shadows being cast under the monster. Kind of coming up through here, up underneath him. So that's just a matter of increasing the radius a little bit. Yeah, because I still see that shape coming down the side of him there. Additionally, and this was just a thought I just had, at the entrance, wouldn't there be a little bit more light on his back from this doorway? Like, I see it's kind of coming down, but I feel like it would penetrate into the room a little bit more. Sorry to bring that up now, but just kind of realizing it. I think because like the light outside is very top down, and the way that it works on the outside is it kind of wraps around, and it would penetrate in from the sides as well too. So I think push a little bit more light onto his back there from the beginning too. I think that would be good. And then for the camera, let's see how we're doing here. Ooh, that little flare is fun. There's something goofy about the first frames on both of yours. If you can, well, I mean, don't worry about it now, but when you get to the final, just edit that off. So, because what happens is it's like once this stops and goes back to this as a thumbnail, it's a little less appealing, because you're aware of something goofy going on. So, the brass looks a lot better. Camera's looking a lot better overall. There's again, it would be great to get just like maybe even fake it if you can, just like a touch of contact shadow underneath there. If not, no worries. I think this plant up here looks good. The base of it, let's just make the pot a little darker, like the shader of the pot a little bit darker. I think that'll help ground it a little bit more. Reflection in there is looking nice. I think everything else about this is looking pretty good. What do you guys think of this camera? Silence is gold. Silence is
Yeah,
gold.
looks good.
Yeah, there you go. All right, very cool. Very, very cool. All right, great.
Yeah, I like the progress.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
I would love to see the first iteration again to see how far we've come, because I think it's grown quite a bit. Okay,
Yeah, it's really pretty.
next up we have Hisham. So we have this. It's been a little while since he posted this one. So there's two different sets. There's this kind of real arcade, and then there's kind of a dream sequence time period. So let's go ahead and take a look here. Okay. Let's turn that off. All right. So, so the first thing that I noticed when I was looking at this iteration of it was like, I think it's fun, and I think the color scheme is really great. I think there's some areas that we can improve upon. The look of it, and I love those wipes. I think those are a lot of fun and add to this the kind of vibe that we're going for, and I think that's great. The background I think can get glowier. It feels like I feel like they would be like glowing lines. And I don't think we're quite hitting that like that kind of Tron type of glow back there. And I think you can probably hit that a little bit harder. As far as the character lighting in through here, generally speaking, it looks really good. Looking at this shot, the blacks on this are a little tough to tell what's going on. I would try and lift that up a little bit. Yeah, because like the black point on the rest of this, like the black point here is a little bit lifted, here it's a little bit lifted, and here it's like super black. So just kind of elevating that so the black points kind of match throughout the three images. As we get into here, I want like the glow on his glasses is cool. It would be nice if it affected his face a little bit more. This is nice. It's got good specularity in the skin. A little bit of a sharp shape crosses across his face there. His face gets a little bit dark in this region. And like I'm cool with it getting this bright when he looks up, because it's like he's looking up into the heavens. This is a little bit too bright here. So like this should be the brightest that he gets. And then once he gets back to here, he should be more like yeah, it's just a matter of toning down the key light here and perhaps allowing it to animate up a little bit as we get to here. You know, because as it becomes a rim, it can get a little bit stronger, but like as the main one out of the gate, it's a little bit strong. Also, it looks like we lose some of the softness from this first series into the second one. Like this one's got a lot more contrast. So, and I get there's probably some logic to it about him not quite being in the light. I just want to feel more of that haze in these first couple of frames there. Looking into the arcade, it looks really nice. I do think we can get a little bit more ambient light in here. I get the contrast to it, but I think arcade lighting, looking at the reference here, it does have a little bit more color spill on the wall. It does have a little bit more ambience to it. Somebody mentioned this a while ago with it. Just the orientation of the arcade is a little bit haphazard, but if that fits in with the story that you guys are trying to tell, that works for me. And I think that we could probably hit his face a little harder with light, so because I think his reaction is really good and really important. Like his reaction, her reaction, them holding hands, and then him are the main areas of focus. So getting some more light, or maybe some more rim in this region, and then a little bit more light on his face too, would be really good. I love the expression on the horse. I think that's really funny. Like even the horse is exasperated with him. So that's looking really good. All right, cool. Anybody else have any thoughts on this one? But it's really, really, really ambitious and really, really good work. All right. let's hop into back over to Photoshop. We got all of Bishex. All right, Justin. All right, first attempt, right? Beautiful, beautiful work with PureRef. All right, so it looks like we got some darker values mixed in with some. I love this sky color, like the pink and cyan sky color that you're going for here, and then like a little bit of a warm growth coming out of the house itself. So, okay, cool. So I think we could actually take down the sky a little bit more, kind of take down the value a little bit. And then the thing that I really love about this is the two-tone nature of the sky. This kind of combination of the peachy pinks with the cyan blues. Like I love this and like the cyan blues can then work their way into the ground as atmospheric. And for you here, I think we can do the same thing. So I think it could be kind of like, so right now it kind of goes from peach almost into like black. Like it's starting to get like darker up here. I think we can push that to be more of like the cyan color and then pull that cyan color more into the foreground. If you want, like I said, I'm just kind of being pulled into like, into a few of these images. Let's see.
Yeah, I really like that idea.
Like here, yeah, here, and here. That's a little different there, but like the deer one is really nice. And that will, by building up that level of haze too, that will allow us to darken the cabin overall, because then it'll be like a dark shape over this kind of lifted misty background, and then within that dark shape we can push some of the warmer light out and allow that to hit the ground a little bit more. So the good thing is that your shaping is really nice now. Like you've got a lot of good shaping in it. Like there's a subtlety to the way that the light's kind of rolling over these hills and around the mountains and stuff. There's kind of a rim light that happens here and kind of falling off this way into more saturated colors. It's just a matter of dialing that in a little bit more. The one advice I'm giving everybody with this is make sure you throw some geo inside the cabin to break up the shadow or the light coming out a little bit, just to imply that there's some stuff inside of there, furniture, signs of life, that kind of thing. And then, yeah, but I think the rest of it's looking pretty good. I think you've got a really, really good base to build from here.
Cool. Yeah, thanks, Mike.
Yeah, no problem. Yes, looking really good. All right, cool. Well, you guys have anything else before we break for the day? All right. Abhishek, oh, you're not here anymore. I'll send you over those files, and I will see you all very soon. All right, take care, guys.
Thanks, man.
All right, happy lighting.